Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the second part of lesson number 6 of your Science 2 subject. Chapter's name, as you all know, is Classification of Plants. Hopefully, you have understood the first part and have also attempted the assignment given in the last slide. Let us just revise what we have learned last time. You all know that plants can be broadly classified into two types, flowering and non-flowering. We all know that flowering plants produce flowers as a reproductive organ, whereas the non-flowering plants reproduce by using asexual reproductive bodies called spores. We have also learned that another method of broad classification is classifying the plants based on the presence or absence of vascular bundles called as xylem and phloem. Let me remind you, xylem transports water, phloem transports food, phloem food. This is how you will correlate. Now we all know that based on the presence or absence of xylem and phloem, plants can be classified as vascular plants and non-vascular plants if they are absent. So you have already seen that all higher plants including ferns have xylem and phloem, whereas the lower and what simple or plants called bryophytes, which you will be learning today, and thallophytes like fungi do not possess xylem and phloem. Last time you have also seen that plants can be classified based on the presence or absence of a covering above the seeds that they produce. Now seeds are produced by flowering plants, so this is a basis of classification of flowering plants or phanerogams. Now based on the presence or absence of seeds, plants can be classified as plants with seeds that are covered as in apple, or plants where the seeds are exposed as in the case of cycas. Today we begin with a very difficult task. Why is the task difficult? You will be learning a lot of scientific terms. When the school reopens, I ensure you I will take a dictation of these terms so that you do not go wrong in their spellings. Now, what are the terms that you are going to learn? You will start with cryptogamy, phanerogamy, thallophyta, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnospermy, angiospermy, and then there are simple words like algae, fungi, lichens, monocot and dicot. I hope you have understood. Once you learn these terms, it becomes very easy to remember this classification. Now we will be seeing distinguish, which tries to differentiate the two broad categories, cryptogams and phanerogams. As told to you in the previous lecture, cryptogams include non-flowering plants and phanerogams include all flowering plants. Cryptogams can be easily differentiated by the absence of flowers in this particular part of plant kingdom. So if flowers are absent, fruits will also not happen, and if fruits are absent, seeds will not be present in these plants. Let us see the differentiating characteristics. You will notice that cryptogams have got flowers absent, fruits absent, seeds absent. So how will you remember? All the criteria responsible for reproduction as seen in higher plants are absent in cryptogams. You will write similar point in phanerogams. The only difference is instead of absent, you will be writing the opposite of absent, that is present. And look at the fourth point of cryptogams. It includes lower and smaller plants. And example, algae, fungi, moss and fern. Whereas on the right hand side, phanerogams, the fourth point is includes higher. What is opposite of lower? Higher. And what is opposite of smaller? Bigger plants. And the examples are grass, coconut tree. You may include all the bigger trees like mango tree, banyan tree, etc. So I hope you have understood the differentiating characteristics of cryptogams as well as phanerogams. So in case if the question is changed and the question is put in the exam later on when the school reopens, write the characteristics of phanerogams, you can use the same 4 points with the example to answer a question of 2 marks. Now we have to learn 3 terms. Now these 3 terms you have to remember by the word phyta. Phyta in biology means phyton or plant. Now cryptogams we have already learned, they are non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants can be broadly classified into 3 phyta: thallophyta, bryophyta and pteridophyta. It is like 3 boys are fighting. One is fighting for thali, the other fellow is fighting for fried food stuff, and the third fellow is so angry that he says terito. So how to remember? Cryptogams can be broadly classified into 3 phyta: thallophyta, bryophyta and pteridophyta. Let us see the characteristics of the first phyta, that is thallophyta. As told to you before, it includes very simple plants that are dorsoventrally flattened to form a thallus. So the word thallophyta, plant whose body is flat, stuck to the ground or freely floating in water, but you cannot differentiate them into leaves, stem or roots. They are just flat like a thali or a thallus. Now since their body is so simple, they can easily go degeneration or drying if exposed to sun. So they are protected by Mother Nature by putting them in water. So mostly they are aquatic. As told you before, the plant body lacks a proper root, stem or leaves. They are mostly autotrophic. Now you all know what is autotrophic. They can prepare their own food because they have the photosynthetic magical pigment called chlorophyll. They also include an exceptional category called fungi who cannot prepare their own food. So the word heterotrophic thallophytes are used. As we all know, fungi are saprophytic. They depend on dead and decaying organisms for their food. Let us see some thallophytes. The names are written on top: Eulothrix, Spirogyra, Cladomonas, Alva, Chara. These are mostly seen under the microscope in the same form. When you reach school, when the school reopens, we'll take you to the lab and show you all these specimens. Now we conclude with this assignment. I request you all to take a screenshot of this page so it gets automatically saved in the gallery, and try to attempt the assignment. Answers will be given to you on Monday.